Experimenting in a fusion of eclectic genres over the short lifespan of her career, Amy Winehouse, an English singer and songwriter, was most notably known for a distinctive and emotional voice. Although her life was tragically taken at only 27 years old, her music and her presence left a lasting impression on her fans and fellow musicians all over the world. Born in London, England on September 14, 1983, Amy Jade Winehouse spent much of her childhood surrounded by music. Growing up, she disliked attending school, more interested in spending her time absorbed in music. Jazz music primarily captivated her, likely to have been influenced by her uncles, who were professional jazz musicians, and her grandmother, who was a singer herself. Her parents encouraged her fascination with music, and her grandmother was the one who proposed that she attend a theatre school, where at weekends she received vocal tuition alongside tap dancing lessons. Winehouse then continued her education through several schools, including the renowned Sylvia Young Theatre School, until she was accepted into the Brit School. Inspired by her brother's guitar, she invested in her own and began writing songs when she was 14 years old. In 2000, she became a featured female vocalist as part of the National Youth Jazz Orchestra. It was a close friend, Tyler James, who created the most impact on her career after he passed on a demo tape that Winehouse had recorded to an A&R who were on the lookout for a jazz vocalist. Shortly after this introduction, she signed a record deal with Island Universal. Even though she only created 2 albums in her career, she explored multiple genres, giving her a distinctive sound that blended with her recognizable voice. She experimented in jazz, R&B, pop, hip-hop, and soul music, while her unique and expressive voice really made her music stand out. She was a contralto vocalist with an impressive range that was admired for its distinguishing technique and characteristic phrasing and expression. While Frank was Winehouse's debut album released in 2003, it was Back to Black that was era-defining. Her music was contradicting, a wise and soulful-sounding voice, while her lyrics were open, controversial, and liberating. Her storytelling was vivid and imaginative, enabling listeners to depict the scene she displayed out before them as she sang. Produced by Salaam Remi and co-written by Winehouse herself, the raw and shameless songwriting of Frank achieved tremendous success, reaching double platinum status. It was also nominated for the Mercury Music Prize alongside Brit Award nominations for Best Female Solo Artist and Best Urban Act. Notably, Winehouse won the Ivor Novello Award for Stronger Than Me, the first single released from Frank. It was unfortunately during this period of her life that she was introduced to hard drugs and was often found physically fighting with her then boyfriend Blake Fielder Civil. Her unstable lifestyle was finally addressed by her management in 2006 when they tried to admit her into rehab to overcome her problems with alcohol abuse. Sadly, this had the opposite effect, and Winehouse parted ways with her management company and instead wrote about her experience, leading to the critically acclaimed single Rehab, which went on to receive another Ivor Novello Award, this time for Best Contemporary Song. Rehab was the first single from her second album, Back to Black, for which became her most well-known and impactful era. The album took a slightly different approach to her debut, and this time Mark Ronson joined the production alongside Salaam Remi. The album provided a new sound, a refresh of 60s soul music. Even Winehouse's appearance had dramatically altered, taking inspiration from 60s pop girl groups who sported beehive hairdos. As always though, her voice remained a constant, filled with emotion and remarkably expressive, which portrayed the themes of the album perfectly. Often her lyrics were sharp-witted, but also troubled. Her songwriting covered many topics including heartbreak, infidelity, and a painful romance that often acknowledged alcohol and drugs. Following up was the second single, You Know I'm No Good, which was nominated for another Ivor Novello Award for Best Song musically and lyrically in 2008. which she ended up winning a later release for her single Love is a Losing Game. The third single title track, Back to Black, was released in April 2007 and peaked at number 25 in the UK, although it had more success across mainland Europe. The album itself went straight to number 1 in the UK album chart. Critically, the album was exceptionally well received, as she won a Brit Award for Best Female Solo Artist alongside a nomination for Best British Album in 2007. A month later, the album made its way overseas and debuted in the United States, where it reached number 7 on the Billboard 200. This in and of itself was a significant moment, and she peaked higher on her Billboard debut than any other British female recording artist in history. For the next several months, the album would stay in the top 10, where it sold 1 million copies, with Rehab following behind, and was equally recognized as a top 10 US hit. Despite her overwhelming success, her reputation took a hit as she continued taking drugs and alcohol, causing dramatic scenes which caught the attention of the media. The on and off troubled romance with soon-to-be husband Blake was much of the inspiration behind the Back to Black album. Her erratic behavior and unreliable attitude made her performances a struggle in the later years of her life. Her tours and shows were often cancelled or postponed, usually in relation to drug abuse. In 2007, she overdosed on multiple drugs and ended up in hospital. Putting it down to exhaustion, she postponed her North American tour, while her autumn tour of Europe would continue to go ahead. Winehouse's husband continued to have a negative influence, as he was arrested a month later, and Winehouse appeared on stage at Birmingham's National Indoor Arena, supposedly intoxicated. Many of the audience members left the show or booed her off the stage in retaliation to her drunken performance. Following this, all her upcoming concerts and appearances were cancelled. However, amongst the inconsistent touring, the album still sold, going platinum nearly 5 times, this making it the best-selling album in the UK in 2007. The success did not stop here, but went on to receive 5 Grammy Awards in 2008 for Record of the Year, Best Pop Vocal Performance, Song of the Year, and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance for Rehab. Earning a 5th Grammy for Best New Artist made history as the most Grammy Awards won by a British female act. Regardless of her unstable performances in her later years, the early stages of her career were filled with captivating shows. During the Frank era, she was present and intentional with her performances, filled with her bewitching spirit. Her deliveries were passionate and vibrant, much like the soulfulness of her music. Tragically, she passed away from alcohol poisoning on the 23rd of July 2011. Groundbreaking in her musical style, outspoken and honest in her songwriting, her extraordinary music will continue to live on for decades to come and will inspire many more artists and beyond. You can check out the Carly Spotify to listen to the original tracks of the artist. It's a curated playlist with the most popular songs.